as a working therapist, but you want to start your own business, you're like, when do I know it's time? When do I know it's time to quit my job and go full time into my business? Well, this is a really great question. My name is Huang. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist, and I own two businesses, my clinic and my online programs. And I want to share with you a little bit about what questions to ask yourself or how to think through this type of question. And the reason why I say that I just want to help you ask the kind of questions or think about what might be good for you, because it's a little bit different for everybody. Everyone's in a different situation, and I just want to help you kind of think about it. I didn't like go part-time and then I didn't go part-time and then um, do my business. I quit outright and went into my business full time. But I was able to do that because I planned 6 months ahead of time what I was doing. And I spent a lot of my times at nights and on the weekends learning about what to do and how I was going to set up and all this stuff like that. But if you are currently working and you want to go to part-time job and then go into your business full-time, these are some things to consider, because I know you're thinking, well, should I save a certain amount of money before I go out into business full-time? Well, I would encourage you to think about how much that is and set that goal. How much is enough for you, and set that goal. And then also have a top and a bottom, because I thought I wanted, let's say I wanted $40,000 before I went um, full time in, and I only got to 20. And then I was like, you know what? That's gonna just be enough, because I think what happens is you say to the universe what you want, and it's pushing you and it's pushing you, but you don't listen because the fear of going full time is scary. So you keep put it off, and then the universe is like, you know what? I'm gonna light a fire under your ass, and you about to get out. So that's what happened to me. I got out at 20 because I was like, you know what? Things are about to really get worse, and I'm not here for that. I didn't want that. And so I said, you know what? 20K is enough for me. So, you have to define it for yourself. So define it. How much is enough, right? How much is enough? And the other thing that, sometimes people are like, well, what do I know I should quit my job and go into full-time business is, outside of the money that you have saved for emergency, or, you think, oh, I have to have this number of clients or this number of people interested in my business before I quit and go full-time. And yes, you can do that, but you also have to define for yourself how much is enough. Like, how many patients or clients you have to have, how many inquiries do you have to have, like those people who are interested in you, how many you have to have. You want to essentially define that, but then you have to ask yourself the question, is are you even doing enough to get those interests? Because if you're working full-time somewhere else and you're trying to build a full-time business, are you doing the work that's required so that you can get all that interest, so that you can get all those people who are like, yeah, I want to give you money in exchange for the services that you have to offer as a therapist, right? So you want to ask yourself those questions, and explore what that brings up for you. Because a lot of times we don't want to quit our jobs because the idea of going into the business full time is so scary, right? So the way I kind of visualize it is like you're a Tarzan, you've got your hand on one rope and you're trying to swing to the next one, and you're holding onto that one, but you haven't yet let go of the other one. And so you're teeter-tottering between the two, and you can't do well in your job, and you hate it because you're miserable because you want to go into your own job, but you can't yet. Here's how I sort of helped myself with that, and just knowing it's time. It's time for me. One is really exploring the fears, like what's stopping you, and And we as human beings are more motivated by by bad versus good. Like you can think about all the good things that your business can do for you, um, but you're not as motivated by that as like the bad. What are your feet? What kind of flames are your feet held up against in that? So my job had to get so bad. Could see the writing. I mean, I could see the writing on the wall. It was just not good. And that's what made me jump, right? Jump. I didn't crawl. I didn't walk. I jumped into my business. And it was because the bad was going to get so bad that it made me jump into my full-time business. And here's the thing is that to a certain extent, you have to consider how much debt are you willing to get into to start your business, right? So I didn't personally get into debt when I first started because at that 20, but I didn't make any money either. So to a certain extent, that was my debt. And so you have to consider that. What are you willing to sacrifice? And some of that might be the debt that you have to go into in order to build your business into a full-time. Because when you're teeter-tottering between that part-time and that full-time, going into your own business, there's so much time wasted and there's so much stress related to it. And stress is just unmade decisions. When you feel a lot of stress, explore what unmade decisions you've made, because you're like one foot in and one foot out. So the stress becomes like you can't manage it, right? You can't manage between the two because you got one foot in and one foot out, right? So, if you're in between, it, one thing that you can focus on is learn spend time learning and building your marketing plan, because marketing is going to be the number one thing that you do in order to get the business in. So plan out, because once you quit your job, you can have all this free time, and don't waste that free time. You got to plan out your marketing plan. I wish when I did my clinic, I thought I had this plan all worked out. I didn't have a business coach at that time. I didn't know any business coaches at that time. And I was like, I had this whole marketing plan laid out, but it wasn't like a very good one. So I wasted a lot of my time. So just, spend the time learning and spend the time creating that plan so that you can go into a business full time. Number two is one thing that I told myself a lot was, I can always pick up a per diem job. I could always go per diem. So if you're having a hard time letting go of that full-time job, think about and maybe even apply to per diem positions where it allows you to work per diem so you can build your full-time job, because you have control over the hours that you pick to do. You just have to be mindful of in order to keep that per diem job, doing only so many hours, because when you're starting and even a couple years into it, when you're trying to build up your caseload, it can be really easy to take the quote unquote easy money, which is the per diem or the job, because it's easy money. Building a business takes a lot more time and effort, and you're putting the time and effort on the upfront and you're making your money later, right? And so those are the two differences. But really, really plan out your marketing so that you can, hit the ground running when you do go into your business full time, so you can start attracting people to your clinic faster, right? And also, also consider, here's the thing, also consider getting some help. You can think you know what you're doing, but you might not have the full laid out direction that can help you not waste time. Time is one thing we can't buy, and we can't, like, we can buy it, but you can't get your time back. So once you've wasted it, once it's passed, you can't get it back. So consider buying someone's time, someone's time for an hour. You can buy into a course, you can buy into a program, anything like that that can help you maybe create a better plan, a system, so that you can hit the ground running and going better and faster, right? So when I first started my clinic, I didn't know any of this. I just quit and I was like, let me wing it. I didn't have a CRM, I didn't have a website, and like nothing. I just went on my reputation and my word, and somehow or another, I got patients and clients, and I started to grow from that. And then I started to learn. I made a lot of mistakes. And so when I opened my second company, um, it was right smack in the middle of the pandemic, and things were going to shit. And I got on the phone with my business coach, and I planned out. I spent like 4 hours planning out what I was doing. 4 hours, or I don't even know more. I was just like stressing, right? Because the pandemic hit, our numbers were going to shit. Everyone was worried. I was worried, for our health, for our money, for our jobs, for my staff's jobs, like the works. I spent 4 hours on this one problem that I had, laying out all the plans, what I could do. I literally got on the phone with this person, and within 30 minutes got my answer. So, and I did. I told them, I was like, dude, do you know how many hours I spent thinking about this shit, coming up with the answer? And you literally helped me in under 30 minutes. And he just laughed at me. And he was like, yeah, because you're too close to the problem. And this is what I'm constantly thinking about and doing, so um just keep that in mind, that sometimes we're so close to the problem, and that's okay. It's okay to get some help to ensure that your plan that you're creating is um is the right one, like it's going in the right direction. So those are some of the questions that I would encourage you to think through and to ask yourself. Are you not letting go of your job or whatever because of the fear of going in, and really come down with some numbers that you're really comfortable with. But whatever numbers you come up with, like how much money do I need? How many clients or customers do I need? Sometimes your numbers can be very swayed because of the fear that speaks. You might drive your numbers up because it's your fear. You can't help it. It's scary doing something new that you've never done before. I think it comes down to the fact that you have to believe that you have the capacity and the capability of solving it. That was one thing I always told myself, Huang. If you quit your job and go full time and you can't make your full time job work, girl, you get a per diem job. You can work anywhere, right? I can work anywhere. I can be an acute care therapist. I can work in a skilled nursing facility if I needed to. I have these credentials. There's going to be an outpatient center who wants a certified hand therapist just to use my credentials, right? Because that's how some people be playing in Miami. They want your CHT letters without giving you the hours because they want to use your credentials to say they have a CHT. Like, I get it. So I was like, if you're good, right? If you're good, you're going out into business because you're fucking good. But if you're good, other people are going to hire you, right? Getting hired is never the problem. I didn't realize that but I didn't realize it to that extent. But that was a story I had to tell myself, girl, you're going to be okay. Because if you can't make this business shit work, somebody going to hire you. You're going to get snatched up. That's what I would tell myself. And you know what? I was like, F working for someone else. I had this like mentally, I'm just sharing with you mentally what I had to go through the internal fight. And I would be like, girl, you're not gonna work for anybody else. You better make this shit work. Better make this shit work. I made it work. Right? So don't be afraid of quitting your job. That shit's gonna be there. It's always gonna be there. It might not be the job that you had, right? It might not be that job, but it'll be another job. But give yourself a chance, man. I feel like OTs don't give themselves more of a chance to be successful. So I'm going to end on that. Give yourself a chance and just know that there's help available, right? Just know that there's help available. You just got to be willing to like grab it. All right. Let me know if this helps. If you have other questions, by all means, you can leave the comment below. I'll make more videos like this. And if you need my personal help, the links are going to be below for you. I do have a OT Business Corner program that you can join. It's going to help you get clarity in terms of your business and help you with your marketing and your pricing and your selling strategies so that you can grow your OT business. I'm really excited to go on this journey with you. So if you need me, all the links are below. Until next time, peace out. Thanks.